This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored every Saturday morning at this time by Independent Bank. And we love to support the arts on this show. We've proved it so many times with all of our Footlighter shows, but this time we're putting the high school students in the spotlight because it's almost time for Legally Blonde. And Mia Kadwell is the director, and good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Tell us who you've brought with us.
I have brought Hailey Freeman, who is playing Elle Woods, Maeve Rojas, who is playing Paulette, and Jack Gulish, who is playing Emmett.
So I will start with you and ask you how we came to the conclusion that Legally Blonde was what you were gonna do.
So, Legally Blonde is one of my favorite shows of all time. I saw the show when the high school put it on in 2017, and
this is the second time.
Yeah. Different directorial team, but yeah, second time. And
all those people who were in that are now 25 or 26 now.
Yeah, for real. I wasn't even in high school
for a second. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's one of my favorite shows of all time, and we wanted to do something that was comedic and pushed the kids with acting, and I love the show, and so I kind of brought it up to the team as like, hey, this would be a fun one. What do you guys think? And they trusted me enough to go with it. So yeah, we came up with it just based on the fact that it was my favorite musical.
Isn't it nice to have it turn out that way sometimes?
Yeah, it's
right?
great.
So what did you enjoy so much about the one that was done back in the day?
I just loved how funny it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I don't want to age you, but
No.
I want to ask you, how old were you when you saw it?
I was in 8th grade, so
Okay.
I was like 13 or 14.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm 22 now, so it's
Okay.
been a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was just really, really funny, and I think something we don't see a lot at the high school level is something that is relevant in terms of like teenage problems and young adult problems, and this show really encapsulates that and puts a light on like serious topics like workplace harassment and success in the workplace, and yeah, it's really, really good.
Okay. And Hailey Freeman is playing the lead role. This is the role, I think, that was made famous by Reese Witherspoon.
Yes, correct.
In the movie. And we're going to talk about the movie as compared with the theater production in a second. But so did you audition for this role specifically?
Yes, I did.
You went into the audition knowing that that's the role you wanted.
Yes.
How do you believe you were perfect for it?
Surprisingly enough, I feel like I personally am very different from Elle Woods because I am more reserved, and Elle Woods is completely outgoing and confident.
But that's okay. That tests your acting chops,
it does.
right?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. What did you do anything special in the audition process?
Well, one thing that was really important for auditioning was like raising my voice higher because Elle Woods has a very high-pitched voice. And so the directors kept saying, like, can you try this higher and, like, try different types of speaking. And so I really had to work on, like, having a higher tone for my voice as I...
Did that strain your vocal cords a little bit?
No, not really.
No? You did all right with that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
all right, yeah.
Okay. And we have Maeve Rojas and Jack Gulish with us. And Jack was the lead in Footloose last year. Mm-hmm. So, and you're a senior this year, right?
Yep.
So this is probably kind of emotional for you because this is the last one, right?
It is.
So tell me about your role.
Yeah, it's to touch on the emotional part. Like, I don't know. I've always been like a little prepared because like everyone's like, "Oh, you're a senior. Like it's your last show." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." But now that it's like here, I'm like, "Whoa!" I'm totally not prepared for this emotion at all. But yeah, the role Emmett Forrest, he's a really sensitive guy, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's not really like any other character I've played before. I feel like a lot of times guys in theater are always just like super confident and just like, I'm a man. And it's not to say that Emmett's not like masculine, but he has a very sensitive side, which I can really resonate with. So it's fun to just like have a character that's really close to me. And I don't know, Hailey was saying that like Elle, she might have to like test her acting a little bit, but like Emmett's just like a version of me. So I can just be like, oh, I'm Emmett. I'm a little shy guy.
Maeve, how about your role?
Well, I'm Paulette, and she's very like flamboyant in herself, so it kind of allowed me to like be more on stage than like I have in the past. So I need to like be loud and be big with my emotions, and it really like allowed me to kind of like find a part of acting that like I haven't done before.
So it sounds to me like this role does not necessarily reflect you. Am I getting that right?
Kind of like I have been trying to be like more outgoing with myself, and I think that this role has allowed me to like be that person that I'm like trying to be, and be that person who doesn't care what other people think of her, and just like say what she wants and like be there for the people she needs and stuff. So it's been really awesome.
So this is not your first role. How many productions have you done?
I've done 5 musicals, I think, in the past, or this will be my 5th, and I've done 1 play before.
Okay. Through the high school, or you've done work with the Footlighters?
I
too?
did 2 junior Footlighter shows, and then I have done the 3 past high school musicals.
So tell me what theater means to you.
It's really like just a place to express myself in like areas that I haven't been able to, and it has helped me like build a lot of like friendships. Like most of my best friends are in theater now, and it allows me to do what I love, like singing. It's like allowed me to have another opportunity of that, and acting, and it's just given me so much experience and has built a lot of relationships that I wouldn't have been able to if I had done something else.
Same question, Jack. What does theater mean to you?
I love that question.
Because last year was your first, right? Footloose was your first leading role.
Right, that was my first musical too.
How much had you done theater-wise up to then?
0.
So it was So the addiction began last year.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And we'll call it an addiction. Everybody's nodding their heads.
No, that's fair.
So what does theater mean to you?
Yeah, so a year ago I had my first show, and it was just so excellent. See, I love singing, I love music, and I didn't know if I wanted to connect it to acting. I didn't know if I would be able to do that. I didn't really see like why you would need to, but the part when I did theater, when I had those like amazing experiences with Footloose, with Newsies, it was just like, oh, so I get it now. Like, it's like you're connecting something you love, music, to like something that's really challenging, which can be like the acting part of it, or like the putting yourself in another person's shoes part of it. And it's like this challenge, but at the same time you're comfortable, and it is just so magical to see something on stage just like portrayed in a way that is just so, I don't know, it's so unique. Like you can watch a movie and it'll just be like, oh, that's like a good show. Like even the best shows are just like, that's a nice TV show. But when it comes to theater, you're so immersed, and it's literally unlike anything else in the whole world.
Same question for Hailey. How many productions have you been in?
This is my 9th production.
9th one. So you've done some junior Footlighter stuff too
yeah.
over the years. So what does theater mean to you?
Theater to me is all about performing. That's my favorite aspect of theater, is the performances. I've always loved performing. I'm also a dancer, so I do countless shows each year with the Landing Dance Academy. And I just love working so hard on something and pouring your all into it, and then getting to show the community like what you've been working on, and all of your hard work is going into portraying this story. And each show has such a unique message, and whenever I see a show, like I love to like pick out what the actors are trying to portray, like what message they're trying to show the audience, and I feel like that's really important. That's the most important part of theater.
Has there ever been a script that you read that turned out differently on stage than you thought it would?
That's a good question.
Because, when you sit down with a script,
Yeah.
you're already thinking, right, about all kinds of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can touch on a recent show that I did, Hello Dolly, with the Footlighters over the past summer. Going into it, I just wanted to do the show because my friend was choreographing, and I wanted to be in it to dance. And I wasn't really familiar with the entire story. And then as going into the show, the whole audition process and rehearsals, I fell in love with this story. It's different from any other show that I've been in because it's more classical. It's not like a fun rock show or whatever like we do at the high schools. But so yeah, that was fun to see. And I fell in love with the comedic side of it because that was a really funny show. But it also was more classical. So I enjoyed having that experience as well.
I'm going to ask that question of you two first, but I'm also going to ask the second question of you two that I'm going to ask of Hailey right now. Are you planning on taking your love for theater to a different level, to a new level once you graduate?
I would love to continue my theater as I go on to college. It's just such a big part of my life now, so I can't see myself not having that as I go on with my life. And doing community theater when I'm older, I feel like that'll definitely be in my future.
Do you have a college destination in mind?
Yes, I'm planning on
Okay.
going to U of M.
Okay. All right. Go blue.
Yeah.
All right. So those last two questions, Maeve, I'll ask you. Unexpected things that came from a stage presentation, and then same question: what are you going to do after high school? Because now, well, what grade are you in?
I'm in 12.
You're all seniors.
Yeah.
So okay, so now you're staring at the end of the high school career here, and I got to tell you, as someone who teaches high school juniors and seniors, y'all are getting asked this question. What are you going to do after you graduate? You're all getting asked that question. I will pull students out of the classroom and say, okay, I know grandma and grandpas and aunts and uncles and moms and dads are all saying, what are you going to do? My question is, are you ready? So, and that's another one for you. But let's go back because I'm going in circles here. Tell me a little bit about your future and maybe a favorite that you've done so far, a favorite play.
Okay. So for my future, I think that at some point I would like to do some other shows or like perform in some other shows because like I love going to see like shows in like on Broadway Grand Rapids or like the Wharton Center, and it's just something that like makes me feel so just like I can't even like think of the words, but it's just like so magical to see, and it's like that'd be so amazing to do something like that. But although I'm not planning on like going into professional performing or anything, I do think that it'd be like fun to do more shows like after high school, at least like in college and stuff.
I would imagine, having had this experience on stage in Cadillac, you go to a show like that with a different set of eyes.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whenever I'm like at one of these shows, like I kind of like look around me and like everybody's just like kind of sitting in their seats, but I'm just like there, just like kind of like not bopping my head or like just like kind of dancing in my seat. And it's like I don't know how other people like aren't just like so like overwhelmed with like what they're seeing. It's just like it's really amazing.
It's made a big impact on you. I can tell. Jack, how about you? Where are you headed next?
I am going to a college where theater isn't like a major, and so I really had to decide if I wanted to do that as a major, and I came to the conclusion that I don't necessarily, and it's not because I don't want to pursue theater. Like, it's such a huge part of who I am now. Like, I think when you do theater, you don't just like do theater, you become a theater kid. Like, and there's no one doing that. Yeah. And so as a theater kid, it's just like, how am I going to keep this going when my college doesn't really like have that? But I'm thinking that they have like student-led stuff that's just like real casual. So honestly, it's a little disappointing, and it might affect my college decision because I say my college as if like I know exactly where I'm going. But it's a huge part. Like, I need to know, like, is there a theater program? Is there like, you know, student-led theater that I can be a part of? Because without that, I don't know if like I'm gonna be
something's going to be missing.
Yeah, because it's just who I am. You know, it's huge.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be harder to ask you that question about your favorite play that you've done because you haven't done that many.
Oh, well, that one's easy.
That's an easy question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Undoubtedly Newsies.
Okay.
So that was with Footlighters, but it was with a lot of the same directors and cast, so.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful show. I don't know if the listeners got to see it, but it was a blast.
Well, we're going to go back to the director here. So it's interesting, Mia, because there's so much in rehearsal that goes on.
Yeah.
It just goes on and goes on and goes on, and then 3 days and you're done. Mm-hmm. So that almost seems unfair, right?
Yeah.
That all this work is unfolds over three nights and then it's over with. So tell us about this group.
This group,
I'm sure every directorial experience is different.
absolutely. This group, I mean, I've worked with a lot of these kids before, like in Footlighter shows and Newsies. I mean, 2 of them sitting here I've known since they were like 8. But this group has just been really good. It's the first time I've like co-directed and been one of the lead directors for the high school. So that's been really exciting and challenging because it's a very different environment with rehearsal schedule and how much. But I'll tell you that this cast is so hardworking. Like we have them coming in 5 days a week, weekends. Like it's intense because with the amount of after school like absences and like I'm sick or I have sports or whatever it may be, it's challenging to put all the pieces together. But this cast has been really, really good about communication and staying on top of what they need to know, like lines and choreography and music. And we've had really, really challenging like setbacks with this show. Like our materials were late with like by a month.
We got to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
what happened there?
Just our licensing got messed up, but it's been we have a joke, the directorial team, of like anything that could have gone wrong has went wrong with this production, but like for some reason it's still magical. Like I'm so proud of everything that the cast has done and everything that the directors have done.
So amongst the 3 of you, which ones of you have driver's licenses?
Just me.
So you're like the Fred in Scooby-Doo. He was the guy with the license. So we have. I guess we probably have to say thank you to a whole bunch of parents for getting people to all of these rehearsals.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
The parents are the heroes, right?
For real, and they provide food and provide all of it, like rides, food, coordinating our cast party. Like it's so much that the parents do for us. Couldn't do it without
You know, I didn't really think of that, how much that parents are more involved than just being at the set of wheels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us when this is happening, because we haven't even talked about the dates yet.
So the performances are February 6th, 7th, and 8th. All have a show at 7 p.m. And then February the 8th, we have a show at 2 p.m. at the Cadillac High School Auditorium.
So 4 shows all together.
Yes.
All 7s and 1-2 on a Saturday.
Yes, correct.
6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yes.
What is the most rewarding thing for you as a director?
That's a hard question. I guess probably making a difference in kids' lives. I mean, I love coming to rehearsal and seeing like them smile or be like, that's really cool. Like, and just seeing them get involved, because I found my place in theater when I was in high school. Like it really gave me a group of friends.
It's hugely important, and I know you can all speak to this, right? Once when you find your tribe, and you have so much in common, right? Tell us about becoming how a cast comes together and becomes a family. Hailey?
Yeah, so in the beginning at auditions, there's got to be so many people that you don't know sometimes because they're underclassmen or you just don't know them. But as the show progresses, you learn more about them. If you're on stage with them and you're waiting for something to happen, you might just have a conversation and you learn about them. And by the end, everyone is so close. And the people that you were already friends with, you become even closer because you've just shared so much time together and you're a part of this amazing experience together. Like performing with your friends on stage is like nothing else. Like it's indescribable because it's such like an incredible experience.
Maeve?
Like, so the shows, like being a part of these, it's all about teamwork. And so like Hailey said, like you go into this like not knowing like so many people. I feel like we had a bunch of new people this year that I didn't know, and it's like so wonderful to be able to see everybody kind of like come together and work so hard for one thing, and like we all get to like share our experiences with each other. So it just becomes like you said, like a family, and it's just like so amazing to be able to share something so wonderful with like amazing people.
Jack?
Yeah, Hailey already touched on this a little, but like you make your friends there, but then you have friends that you already have, like you get closer with. Like all 3 of us, we're in our same little group. And it's literally so much fun to get to hang out with them, because it can be hard in school. Like we hang out a lot in the summers, but like obviously less during the wintertime because of school and homework and all this and all that. But then it's fun to like have that reserve time in your day for like, okay, these are my homies and we're going to go rehearse Legally Blonde together. It's so much fun.
How do you balance all that? Because you're still high school students. You still have homework to do. That aspect of your life doesn't go away just because you're spending lots and lots of time rehearsing. So how do you balance that, Jack?
Yeah, it's exhausting, to be honest. Like, having rehearsal that's as long, if not longer, than like most sports practices. Like, and you've got homework. Teachers are somewhat less like understanding when it comes to any sort of absence or like leaving for the arts. Not to say that all of them are, but like if you were to say, "Oh, I've got a game," they'd just be like, "Oh, have fun, good luck." But it's like, "Oh, I have a late rehearsal. I have less time to do my homework." They're just like, "That's too bad."
Teachers, listen.
Yeah.
Teachers, listen. The arts are every bit as important as sports are. Come on, teachers.
So yeah, when you got work, sometimes after school, and you got to balance the homework, sometimes you'll have some late nights, staying up to like 12 or 1, just getting your stuff done.
Well, that's another question.
4:30.
I was up till 4:30 last night.
The three. How many of the three of you have jobs?
I do.
You
I
do.
too, yeah.
So yeah, you also have to have an understanding boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the hardest part. I would think, from my perspective, that the final bow on the final show is the hardest part. Mia's nodding her head. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get a senior show because I graduated during COVID.
Oh, lucky
you. But even my junior year, because our show went up 3 days before the world shut down in my junior year. So I think we all kind of knew. Like, it was weird. And like, even though I was only a junior, I was like, this is the last time I'm going to do this with my friends. But it even makes like the directorial team cry because this is the last time you're going to work with a majority of these kids. And like, that's hard, especially when you've known them for like at least 4 years, some of them. Yeah.
But we've got 4 performances to go, but tell me about, you've had some last bows before. So emotional?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's almost during the last bow, it's like surreal. Like the crowd and like if they're giving you a standing ovation, like it's just insane to like see how much like they enjoyed the show and like how much our acting like touched them. And I almost feel like it's not the final bow that's the worst, but it's when you get home afterwards and then you're just hit with like the post-show depression and it's just so sad because you know that like it's over. It's really over once you get home after that final show.
Post-show depression is a thing after
Yes.
the last.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and is there a cast party usually afterwards?
Yeah, we do it. We've actually started doing it in between our matinee and our night show on the Saturday.
Okay.
Because once it's over, it's just like over. Like it's hard to come back the next day or like after the show and be like, hey guys. So I mean, obviously people do like cast dinners and like little get-togethers and stuff, but like we try to do like a whole cast thing in between the shows.
Maeve, last bow. Emotional? Tough?
It is. It's also just like, it's emotional, but it's also like such a happy feeling too, because it's like we've put in all of this like hard work and then we finally get to show it to everybody. And then the last one, it's like, it's just like really touching that we get to like show everybody. And like Hailey said, we get to make so many people happy. And especially this year, it's going to be like really difficult. And even if I do go on to do shows like in college, it's just going to be like sad saying goodbye to like this group of people because it's like all of my friends and just the people who I've like at this point like gone through all of high school with, and it's like our last time working together, and it's going to be really hard to like say goodbye to these.
You will find out who your true friends are, and you probably will have many of them in this group. Years go by. Jack, last bow. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard for any show. Like your last bow was like, oh, this show I worked so hard in. It was just like so much of me that went into this, and now it's the last time I get to do it. But as we're all seniors here, it's just like, oh, this one's really gonna hurt. It's like this is our last show together. This is our last show at Cadillac Theater, so it's just like really gonna punch. So I have no idea what that's gonna feel like, but I foresee it being really emotional and I'm really nervous, but it'll.
That's why I always thought if you were a theater goer, I would buy tickets to the last show or the second to the last show because it seems to me like that's where all the emotion is going to come out.
And everyone puts like an energy into the last show of like, it's the last time we're ever going to do this. Like, let's just do it.
So for those who are more familiar with the movie as opposed to the theatrical production, differences?
A lot more singing.
Okay.
Because the movie's not a musical, but this one has a lot more singing. I would say in terms of like story, though, it's fairly similar.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the iconic lines in the movie aren't in the musical, which hurts my heart. But like, no, I would say the story is pretty similar. Follows the same group of people, same characters. So, yeah.
Okay. How many musical numbers in the show?
I'm going to guess.
Have you? So you got to guess.
I got to guess like 15.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm going to
was
guess.
gonna say, yeah.
Like,
Okay.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's hard vocally. Like,
Yeah.
So challenges from the difference between doing a musical and doing a standard play without music. Who has done a straightforward play without singing? Have you all? Just you, Maeve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
So,
have a big part, but
bigger challenge
I would say
to sing.
I would say yes because, I mean, especially like at least for me, I had like maybe one line in the play because it was like my first, so I can't really speak on it that much. But I feel like for like the singing, especially for this show, it's like probably some of the hardest music that I've had to learn, and it's just like it's a lot to have to like memorize and really like find like what the song's like really about and like how to like find those emotions that you're singing. Like for my character, I really had to like I really have to like act it out on stage, and like I feel like I hope I've done like a good job like really getting into my character and like expressing like the emotions that's coming out of it. So
Did you? So obviously you don't have a ton of background experience in theater. When you went into audition, did you have an idea that you were gonna? Did you have your eye on a certain role, or did you end up with a bigger role than you thought? How did that work?
for this show, I did audition for Elle Woods, but I was kind of like, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, like I know Paulette would be like a really fun part. So like, if I don't like get Elle, I really hope I get Paulette because like, I just think that she's like such an interesting and like just like an interesting and complex character, and she just has like a lot to like give. And I'm so happy that Hailey got Elle Woods too because
Thank you.
she's one of my best friends, and like I don't think that a better person could have played it. So like there was no hard feelings there. But Paulette has been like a blessing to me because like I said earlier, like I feel like it's given me like a way to like come out of my shell more.
So we have about 2.5 minutes left. So we need to convince folks to come to see Legally Blonde.
All right.
Now, having been in the audience for last year's production of Footloose, I can tell you that these kids are fantastic.
They are.
There's so much talent in Cadillac, and even if you're not a parent or a grandparent or a relative, you need to go because you'll be blown away.
Absolutely.
I think I just stole your line.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So what would you say to folks who
This is
are on the fence?
This is probably one of the funniest productions that I've directed. It's filled with comedy and humor. It's also, I have to note that it is rated PG-13. It has some mild adult language and some suggestive content, but it's really funny. They blow me away every day vocally. It's insane. Our music director, Amy Swanson, has worked tirelessly on getting these kids whipped into shape for vocals, not to pun off one of the songs, but they're so talented, and it's really one you're not gonna want to miss.
Where can folks get tickets?
They can get tickets online through the school's website, through Cadillac School's website, or it's on our Facebook, which is Cadillac High School Viking Theater. Tickets are $5 for students, $10 for adults online, and $12 for adults at the door.
Let's fill those seats.
Yes, fill 'em.
Dates and showtimes one more time, Maeve.
February 6th, 7th, and 8th, all at 7 p.m. with a matinee at 2 p.m. on February the 8th.
Well, break a leg, guys.
Thank you.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We invite the community out to see that the kids are all right.
Yes.
Hailey Freeman, Maeve Rojas, Jack Gulish, and Mia Kadwell, thank you very much for coming on the show, and I hope it's fabulous.
Thank you.
Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by Independent Bank. Join us next week for more local chat here on 107.9 CDY.